So last time we said the most fundamental and probably important switch that a person can make in his life is to switch from viewing Yiddishkeit or viewing Torah as being doing the right thing to being a relationship with Hashem. That switch is a mindset switch, but it will change his entire Yiddishkeit, flip it over on its head. Because once it's about making a relationship with Hashem, Yiddishkeit goes from being black and white to color. It's a massive switch. It's a simple but massive overhaul of Yiddishkeit when a person makes that switch. That Yiddishkeit is a relationship with Hashem, and that every single Jew has a right to have a relationship with Hashem. Even the smallest Jew, even the biggest Russia. The bigger you are, the deeper or greater relationship you have with Hashem. But even the smallest Yid at the starter level, like ground zero, has a relationship with Hashem if he wants it. Because Hashem wants that relationship with him. And the minute a person's looking for the relationship, he'll find it. He'll find it. Why? Because your neshama is also looking for that relationship. And Hashem is looking for the relationship. You know who's standing in between? Your neshama is searching for Hashem, Hashem searching for your neshama. You are standing in between. And the minute you remove yourself from the problem, because you also start to look for a relationship, it will find itself. There's a word from the Rav Nishtizah. How are you feeling? Rav Nishtizah says that Hu Imrach Kasleinu. You say by Kiddush Alona, it's pasuk in shiur. There's Baruch who's standing behind our wall. So Chazal Darshan is referring to the Kaisel. But Rav Nishtizah says, what's the wall that Hashem is standing behind? It's the wall that we put up between us and Hashem. So you would think that if you put up a wall between Hashem, you shut Hashem out. So Hashem would walk away, because that's what a human being would do if you shut him out. You show somebody the door and you slam the door, he leaves. No, Hashem he stands the whole time, never leaves the wall. Waiting, maybe you'll open up a crack. The minute you open a crack, you know what that opening the crack is? The minute you start looking for a relationship with Hashem. The minute you do that, Hashem's right back in the door. So the minute a person makes that switch in his Yiddishkeit, that it's about a relationship with Hashem, we'll find it very quickly. Every person has a unique relationship with Hashem that nobody else in the world has, that we saw earlier. Mom is unique. And
can you think that through when you're doing Averis also?
The MS.
I'm saying, let's say
the Gemara says,
let's say you're not doing, and you're not being great and whatever it is, and you tell yourself, I don't want to not do this because I'm not supposed to, because my relationship with Hashem, and you do it anyways. Does that change anything?
No, I don't think so. I mean, every Aveira is putting a roadblock in our relationship with Hashem, but nothing is ma'akiv. Nothing absolutely closes the door, no such thing. The Gemara says, the very last daf in Brachas, whereas Amar Brachas, the Gemara says, B'chol d'rochecha de'eyu, afilu l'dvar Aveira. You should know Hashem in all your ways, even l'dvar Aveira. That means a person should never relinquish a relationship with Hashem, even when he's chayte. It's a one-sided thing. We're the ones who, when we do a chay, we drop our relationship with Hashem because we think that He dropped His relationship with us, and that's in our own head.
That's the way I learned from my father. Like correct. If you're not, then it goes right.
Right.
Now, a lot of people in their relationship with Hashem is exactly the relationship they have with their father. There's a whole psychology behind 100%.
That. Very, very
it's a very
true.
deep thing, but yeah.
It's very, very, very true. Since Hashem is a father figure, we project our father onto Hashem. 100%. That's for sure true.
That's also the way He wanted us to see Him, though.
Correct. He calls Himself as our father.
Right, but also with the father that He gave us. Like Batsal's right. Like when a person's, let's say, having trouble with his own father, he could feel distant from Hashem, like, or if he never had an emotional relationship with his father physically. How could he have an emotional relationship with Hashem?
I don't see that I think that that's something Hashem did. Everything that happens in a person's life is on purpose. But that just means that this is the challenge that Hashem needs him to get over. To not let his relationship with his father interfere with his relationship with Hashem. While the other guy who has a good relationship with his father wasn't given that challenge, he has other challenges. But when Hashem says in the Torah that I'm your father, Alei Wavicha Kanecha, right, or B'nai B'char Yisroel, he compares us to his children. He means that you're supposed to take from the good of the relationship with the father and project that on Hashem, not the negative that comes up when our fathers aren't perfect, or maybe we're not perfect to our fathers. That's a challenge to the relationship. But I think it's not even when a person has a negative relationship with their father. I think we project every human reaction. You know, if I stab you in the back, you will turn away from me. If I smack you, you will walk away from me. At best, you'll walk away from me. At worst, you'll punch me back. So when I stab Hashem in the back, it's only natural that I automatically project that reaction onto him. That he's going to walk away from me or smite me. And it's not true at all. Because Hashem's not human. He doesn't get offended. He doesn't get insulted. His love is infinite. He's not happy I did the chait. But he's not walking away from me. It will be more comparable to the relationship of a parent to an infant. Okay? Infants or babies or little children do all sorts of crazy things to their parents. They could whack them, they could yell at them, they could call them names. It doesn't matter. Why? Because the parent doesn't get offended by a child.
They don't even know what they're doing. They can't even. Like I'm holding my little 4 months old and he's scratching me like all the time.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
His hand doesn't have control. He's scratching him, but I'm not angry.
And even when
I
he
get angry,
does,
I'm the Meshuggah.
Exactly. And when he's a 2-year-old and he does no, meaning he's trying to throw a tantrum.
Then you start getting a little bit.
But even then,
right?
You don't walk away from the kid,
right?
The kid
when
says,
he's 5.
Yeah, that's different. So what's the shot with the 2-year-old? You don't walk away with him, even if he says, "You're stupid."
Because he doesn't know.
Doesn't
it's the same with us.
It's Hashem understands that we have no clue. We have no clue who he is. We have no clue what we're doing. We don't have no clue what an Avera is. Yeah, he doesn't get offended. We're mamish infants in terms of our understanding of Hashem and mitzvahs and Torah and bad and good in the world. Hashem knows that. So there's no shaykhis to getting offended. The same way the kid's having a temper tantrum, the mother just says, yeah, blah, blah, fine, it's okay. That's what Hashem is doing too. He's just waiting for you to get over your tension. That's exactly what Hashem is doing. So you put up the wall, he doesn't go anywhere. So the minute a person chaps that, or possibly even chaps for the first time in his life that he's supposed to have a relationship, not because he deliberately walked away, but because he never knew that was what Yiddishkeit was about. He thought Yiddishkeit was just about following rules. The minute he starts to search for that relationship, the relationship jumps out at him. By Avraham Avinu, it says that the minute he started to search for Hashem, and he started to disqualify all the options. He thought it was the sun, maybe it was the sun sets, the moon. When he disqualified all the options, the Medrash says, he said he was matmiya. After he disqualified the options, he said, could it be that this bira has no manik? Could it be that this house has no balabais? Miyad, Chafetz Lov Hashem Yisborach, immediately Hashem jumped out at him and said, Anihu balabira. Because the minute you do your effort to search for Hashem, Hashem jumps out. And it happens to every single Jew in his own relationship to Hashem. And when he makes that switch, all of a sudden he has a kesher with Hashem. You know, somebody showed me a clip that one of the captives from October 7th, some interview with him after he was released. Wait, he wasn't from this guy. He said that he had never felt in his life so close to Hashem as he did in that year in captivity. He said he mamish felt Hashem with him. He would have conversations with Hashem. Every morning he said he would start the day, he was in total pitch black. He would start the day by saying, "Good morning, Hashem. How are you today?" You ever saw this clip? And he said it was like the tangible mamashas of Hashem. He said now that he's released, he doesn't feel anymore. You have any explanation what's the pshat in that? He's not about Dimyan, he's not imagining it. The pshat is that when you're in captivity and you have nothing else, you be'emes desperately open up to seek Hashem's presence, and he's right there. When you're back in your normal life, it's harder to be'emes look for that relationship, so we have a harder time. B'chlal, people in the Shas Tzara often feel that they connect to Hashem better in a certain funny way because of that. Not everyone reacts the same way to tzaros. Some people, it hurts their emunah. Some people, it heightens their emunah. The people who hurts their emunah, we understand why tzaros would hurt a person's emunah, because he feels like Hashem is abandoning him. Why would it help a person? A lot of people say they never felt more connected than when they go through a tzara. Because for those people, in their matzav of desperation, when they recognize that nobody can help them, and they're stuck, they all of a sudden open up to Hashem. And when you open up to Hashem, Hashem's right there. It's a chaval that we have to wait for matzavim like that for it to happen. So this is the biggest switch. And when a person makes this switch, everything is different in Yiddishkeit. Because this Yiddishkeit is not about rules, and Yiddishkeit is not about getting it right and punching in and punching out so you can collect the salary. It's about getting a relationship. That means that every mitzvah is somehow connecting you to Hashem. So it makes you want to pursue the mitzvahs. Every yontif connects to Hashem. What's the yontif about? Everything now gets depth and color. Becomes vibrant. It's an overhaul. Nimtza. It comes out that a person was only created to know and connect to Hashem. And the vehicle that connects us to Hashem is the Torah. The Torah mitzvah, that's what connects us to Hashem. You know, people ask, why are there so many mitzvahs, tag mitzvahs? Because every mitzvah reveals a chilek of Hashem to us in a different way. And 613 is the totality that human beings can connect to. It's not a question why there's so much. If there was less, that means you would have less access to Hashem. This is the full gamut of the way we can relate to Hashem. If you only create in the world to know Hashem and to connect them in our relationship, then that would automatically now become your goal. And your tachlis in everything you do is how to connect to Hashem. By the way, even Lamaisa things would switch. This wouldn't just change the whys of what you're doing. It would also change sometimes the whats. Because once you're trying, in your whole avodah is now about connecting to Hashem, certain mitzvahs will automatically rise to the top of the totem pole for you. The mitzvahs that make you feel more connected to Hashem will automatically take on more significance. For example, your davening will probably improve. Because if you don't have a relationship with Hashem, then davening is just something you need to do, so you just do it. The faster the minyan, the better. You know, you go to shuls where, like, the conversation is, like, oh, I went here, and they managed to knock off the whole shachris and this, and it's like l'shvach, like that's a good thing. And we went here, and they did the whole thing, and this, and that.
28 minutes.
And 28 minutes, and this minute, and this minute, it's like, that's a mila. You're right. Because for you, this is just about clocking in, clocking out. Well, if all you got to do is say the words and just to be yotze, then, and you can say them faster, then why waste time, right? So say it faster, let's get out of here. But either way we said it, so what's the difference? Right? But if this is about religion connecting, and davening is when the gates are open to connect. That's the only time of the day that you have like a direct line to be able to mamish talk to Hashem directly. I mean, you could always talk to Hashem, but here the gates are mamish open. So the davening is going to take on a whole different level of connection. Oh, this is the Mesilas Yesharim. And you know what else is going to happen? Your Shabbos meals are going to take on a different surah. Because if Shabbos is no longer just a random day of rules, which you have to just keep and be yotze, if you view Shabbos that way, then Shabbos is devoid of anything. Firstly, Shabbos is a burden. That's number one. And secondly, there's nothing to do here. So A, the quicker Shabbos ends, the better. B, the meals are just about eating food and getting to bed as quick as possible. This is what it ends up becoming. But the minute a person switches it, his Yiddishkeit is about relationship with Hashem. And then he starts to discover That Shabbos is the Yom HaNishmasa. It's the day that Hashem's Kedusha suffuses the world. And since he's already open to that relationship with Hashem and to feeling Hashem's presence, and on Shabbos he starts to have he starts to realize that he has an easier time. Because he should. And then he starts to get into his Sudas more. He wants to sit at the Suda a little longer. He wants to sing his mirrors. Everything changes. Literally, Yiddishkeit goes from black and white to color. It's the best description of it. And that becomes his goal, and everything he does in Yiddishkeit is to connect to Hashem, to feel Hashem more. This is the Lashon Mesilas Yesharim at the end of the first parak. Okay, the first parak is where the Mesilas Yesharim lays down the fundamentals of life. It came out the last paragraph. This is the way he says, this is Mesilas Yesharim's Lashon. Shetia kol pniyase rak l'bar yisbarach. A person's entire pniya, direction, should be towards Hashem. He shouldn't have any other tachlis in any action that he does. And katan golda, whether big or small, other than to come close to Hashem. Not that I'm trying to get schar, although I know I'm getting schar, and that's important to keep in mind. Not that I'm trying to avoid getting punished, although you need to keep that in mind too. But my goal in everything I do is how to come closer to Hashem, how to connect better. And to break down all the barriers that are standing between you and Hashem. What are those barriers? It's our physicality. So the Torah was given to us because the mitzvahs connect us. The lavin separate us from things that will distance us and increase our physicality and make our physicality thicker, bigger mechitzas. Says Mesilas Yesharim, to the point, the more mitzvahs you do to increase that bond, and the more lavin you avoid to break down those barriers, you will find that you will start to become drawn after Hashem like metal to a magnet. That's Mesilas Yesharim's mashal. Like metal to a magnet. What does that mean? Because your neshama was desperately looking to connect to Hashem the whole time. And Hashem was desperately looking to connect to your neshama the whole time. And the only thing breaking the magnetic field was your guf. And the minute you can bypass that, you're not going to need to convince yourself of anything. Your neshama will connect. You'll find the connection, you'll feel it. In the beginning, it's very, very strong. That's why I'm saying it's in Chassidus Ketchilase. When a person first starts to connect to Hashem, first makes that switch, it feels like the floodlights were turned on. And he sees like the whole entire world in high resolution in terms of Hashem. That's a gift from Hashem. It lasts for every person, however long it lasts, but it doesn't stay forever. That's what I'm calling it the Orisha, the first light that a person gets.
Pink cloud, they call it.
Yeah, the pink cloud.
And recovery and stuff, they call it a pink cloud. It's when people decide to change their life around in the beginning. All the things that are good come very easy, come like that's what you want to do.
Exactly.
And then life comes.
Then the challenges. It's like that in Hashem too. But that Orishan is Hashem showing you what you're capable of reaching at the end of the day. That's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. You just get a little taste of it in the beginning. That's what I'm saying. They bring down that mashal from the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov said, a guy goes into a food store and they're offering free samples. So, let's say an ice cream store. So they give you those little spoons. You can taste whatever flavor you want. So they taste every single flavor.
You walk out.
No, better. You say this was good. I want another round.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden the guy says, no, I'm not giving you any free samples. I have to pay. He said, what do you mean before you gave me a free sample? Yeah, that was so you can know what to buy. But now you know, now you pay. I don't get free. So it's the same thing. In the beginning you get the free R. So that you'll know what to work for. But once you got it, now you got to work for it to get it again. But I'll call upon him. But that it starts when the person makes the switch in his mind. That Yiddishkeit is not about just doing what's right. It's about a relationship with Hashem. The relationship comes on its own right away. Hashem didn't create a single Yid for nothing. There's not a single extraneous Yid. Every Yid was created with his own tafkid. So then what would be the havamina that somebody wouldn't be on the madrega to have a relationship with Hashem? Hashem custom made him. Right? Every Yid was custom made.
Custom made him, but he didn't make him come how he became with all the kelim he has.
Yeah, but
Hashem custom made him, but
you never lose your
30,
mission.
40 years later, the guy could be much more. He took it and he didn't do anything with it.
Okay, but at any second that you want to start, you got all the kelim. You can't lose
Right.
them. And Hashem's waiting for it because He created you. You're the only one who can do it. So what would be that sad that you wouldn't be important enough to have a relationship with Hashem? There's no mass-produced Jews. Hashem custom designed you. So, yeah.
And custom designed the path.
And custom
Because whenever
designed.
there's a path, Hashem allowed it to happen. If it wouldn't be for your benefit, Hashem wouldn't allow that path to happen either. No?
Well, I mean,
Well, that's not saying-
you could use your bechira to do Averis.
Right.
But I'm saying, like, if you use the Bechira to do Averis, right?
Yeah, you can
Hashem
never.
allows you to have that Avera that shouldn't destroy you completely,
Right,
no?
won't destroy you. Won't destroy you.
Is there a time that a Jew can do something that will destroy him complete?
I don't think so. Not as
You
long as there's a lot.
you always
Because
the
doesn't
Yid.
it say that
always do
You
tshuva.
could even convert. You still the Yid.
Yeah.
I'm saying if he doesn't do Shuvah,
But you could always do tshuva, so there's no point that you close the door.
Until-
he passes away.
So that-
Well, once you
that-
die,
that-
but then you'll just come back as
I'm
a
saying
good
as
one.
long as he...
Yeah, Hashem will give you a second chance. You come back as a good one.
But till that second, I guess you could be
Yeah.
on the deathbed and Amish have done everything you wanted for 80 years, but for 1 minute, be like everything you did, like you realize, and then I guess that's
That's the Rambam
that's
says.
the
The Rambam says in
level.
Hilchos Tshuva, even a person's choyte kol yamav b'yom ha'achron, he does tshuva, Hashem's makabel. The Rambam says.
So that really goes into what you were saying in the beginning, that he's waiting.
Yeah.
Because if you have a parent that for 70 years you cursed them out and you did everything to destroy their life, even a parent is going to be, they're disowning you. No way 7 years later, Sha'achas, you said, I didn't mean everything. I broke your legs, I cut your head. I didn't mean it. Yeah, I'm ready to take you. Only someone's mamish waiting, like saying Hashem,
Right.
that
Right, and Hashem, and we're the 2-year-old also, so all the cuts and all the fighting.
we see
Hashem
it
was-
in the Elah, in Shemona Esrei, at the end of Shemona Esrei.
Right, Hashem's waiting.
Because then you're
for Moshe.
always connected. You're always like,
Yeah.
and Hashem's always waiting for us, even,
Yeah.
for the last second, it says. It's at the end of Shemona Esrei.
Yeah, 100%. And even if the tshuva was on his deathbed when he's already scared and he already, Hashem accepts the tshuva. So there's no point that a person really is ever destroys himself. They always get back on the path. That's the. So it's true that you can derail your mission temporarily, but Hashem is always waiting for you to get back on the track and do the mission.
But you can also not have that same connection. I mean, your level of connection, depending on how you live your life, will also depend on...
Yeah,
meaning,
100%.
A guy,
He's
you know,
saying once you
because
make that
somebody-
change in your mind, the floodgates open. Once you
Yeah, but you
decide
still
that
don't have that relationship that you would have had if you would have been
Yeah.
close to
Oh,
Hashem for
100%.
all your life.
Right.
I'm saying you can have a
No,
person that would
100%
say,
right.
"Oh,
No,
you know,
that you're
I'll
right.
live my life whatever, and then when I get old, I'll do
No.
tshuva." Yeah, you'll have a minimal relationship that you can have.
Right.
like a
He
tshuva.
lost that
You're not
one.
going to have the 70
The passion
years
can't
of
change.
Yeah.
building a deep relationship.
It's even more
with
than
Hashem.
that. Even a Rasha before he does tshuva could have a relationship with Hashem.
Right.
But in a Hanami, the relationship will be equal to your level. But every Jew is entitled and has and is capable of having a relationship with Hashem where he is at that second.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's everyone
And
has
not
the
only
same
that, you're
relationship
saying
with Hashem.
we could decide to really, once you go in with your heart, then all of a sudden it's a real change.
Right.
From wherever you are, you could be in the depth of the depth.
Right.
When you decide
change in a
this is not
second.
what I want. This I really want to live life for Hashem.
Yeah, you can catapult yourself out of where you are in a split second. That's the Ma'ilot Tshuva. But regardless, the relationship with Hashem is not totally on that. There's a word from the Chofetz Chaim. The Chofetz Chaim said that when Moshe Rabbeinu comes and meets Hashem for the first time by the Sneh, the very first time Moshe meets Hashem, Hashem says, "Amokim she'ata omer ad miskodesh." Place you're standing is holy land. So the Chofetz Chaim said it's a message to every Jew. Often people think, where I am, I can't really connect to Hashem. I have to first get to a better place. No. Wherever you're standing is already Admas Kodesh. It doesn't mean that you don't need to grow. You do. But wherever you're standing is already good enough to connect to Hashem. To start a relationship with Hashem. Because there's no point that Hashem is not looking for a relationship with you. So the minute you open that door to him, he comes in. And you connect. And then you realize that Yiddishkeit is about connecting to Hashem. And every aspect of Yiddishkeit is just a way to connect to Hashem. And it changes everything. It changes everything about Yiddishkeit. Many people, even though they know in general terms that we're in this world to connect to Hashem, but on a daily basis, they're not really living with that reality. They're not trying to connect to Hashem. They're not even thinking about Hashem. They're doing mitzvahs day and night, but they're just doing them. They wake up in the morning, what's the right thing to do? If you were to ask them, well, why you want to do the right thing? So then, maybe after a few moments of thought, they would say, either to get to the Mabul, or maybe they might come on to the answer to connect to Hashem. But they had to think about that. That's not lamaisa, what's going through their head as they do the mitzvahs throughout the day. It's just doing what's right. Or even doing what the Shulchan Aruch says. But that's where it stops in their mind. The Kotzker one time said a very sharp line. He said, some people serve Hashem and some people serve the Shulchan Aruch. And he was referring to that. It's a sharp line that can easily be misunderstood. Because obviously our goal in life is to follow the Shulchan Aruch. But we're following the Shulchan Aruch to follow Hashem. The Shulchan Aruch is Hashem's guide for us. But for some people, it stops there. It's an end. And not because they really mean it to be an end, but practically it just becomes an end because they don't think past it. So it comes like, the Shulchan Aruch says you're not allowed to do that. Or why are you doing that? What do you mean? Because that's what Allah says to do. Now really, what the person should be thinking, and it could be he is thinking, but not always, is what Hashem wants you to do. Hashem said not to do it. Where does it say? It says it in halacha. But a lot of times we could just slip into a life about what's right and what's wrong. Why is this right or wrong? I don't know. I check in once a year to think about that. But that's not my daily state of mind. So you end up living a life that's devoid of a relationship with Hashem. You're doing what Hashem wants, but you're not connecting to Him. Why? Because you're not trying to. You're just trying to do what's right. So that's a sakana. That's just a danger that we can easily fall into, because we're creatures of habit. And you could even have it that we might have started being medaktik and halacha in order to have a relationship with Hashem, and then forget why we're doing it. We lose sight of the forest for the trees. It's so easy. That's what human beings do. We go into routine automatically. So it's something a person has to constantly stay focused on. That this needs to be about Hashem. This needs to be about me connecting to Hashem. It shouldn't just be, what I do. People have it on all levels. People could start doing certain things for their parents because this is my parent and I should do it. But after a while, it also just becomes, every day you go over to the house, you do X, Y, Z, you leave. It's just another thing on the list at a certain point. And that's what we do to Hashem. Many people use the Torah as just a way of life. It's just something that dictates how to live. And they're not seeking Hashem. And therefore they don't reach Him.
What if you're doing because you want to feel it, but you're not feeling it?
Yeah, so then you need to know the wisdom of avodah, how to deal with the ups and the downs in our relationship with Hashem. Which is to realize that we're not always going to feel it. There's aliyahs and yeridus, but at least that's what I'm looking for, that relationship. And I know that I have that relationship even when sometimes I don't feel it. The accepting of not being able to connect, that sometimes is the greatest relationship right there.
Really?
Yeah, because I tell Hashem, I'm always looking for a relationship with Hashem. So when I come to davening and the davening just doesn't get off the ground, it's like flat. And I'm trying to jumpstart. I like the old lawnmower that you're pulling and catching. Is that before all your times?
I think that's still the good lawnmower. Still broadcast. The electric one doesn't cut properly.
No, that's fun. Actually happened yesterday. The gourmet class. The guy cleans the thing. He goes towards the end of the day. The machine, he goes in the thing to clean the floor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
And the
Zamboni.
guy's going, and
That's not a Zamboni.
I look at him, I go,
I
guess it's not right. He looks at me and goes,
I don't know the
and
name.
he's just and what's going on? And I'm like,
Yeah, well,
There's
our
no-
davening sometimes goes like that. You know, you got sometimes it could even be, and this adds to the chalisha das. Sometimes it could even be that you put in effort to make this davening worthwhile. You might have gotten up early. You might have gone to the mikveh. Maybe you learned before davening. Maybe you said tehillim before davening, and you got yourself all revved up for a good davening, and then it falls flat, and you already invested in it, and it falls flat. To be able to say, Hashem, I know you're right here. I know this is just a challenge. I'm accepting it. You know, I'm not resentful. I know that you know what you're doing, and I'm here connected to you, whether I feel it or not, because it's not about me. It's about you. That itself is the biggest, closest to Hashem right there, the biggest demonstration of a real relationship.
The commitment without the feeling.
Commitment without the feeling. But the point is, that guy is still working, the whole thing is working within the framework of his relationship with Hashem. As opposed to someone who's not even thinking about it. The amazing thing about human beings is that a human being is mesugal, has the capability to daven Shemona Esrei and know the translation of the words and not honestly be thinking about Hashem. Because you can say in your head, blessed are you Hashem, Elokeinu v'Elokei Aviseinu, and even that is lip service in your mind, lip service.
But you can have the commit. It's so interesting. You have the flip side. Commitment without the feeling could be someone that isn't feeling it, but they're committed, so that's why they're doing it. Or you could have someone whose habit, and it's a commitment without the feeling, but that's not good, and the other one is much better.
Right, 100%.
So it's,
My grandfather's kind of a chassid, Reb Shlomo Tursky, the Hanastaker of Denver. It was pointed out to me that people don't know who I'm referring to when I say my grandfather. My mother's father was...
people don't. I mean, Friday night dafka, when you're saying it,
Yeah.
people, I was thinking that.
My grandfather was Reb Shlomo Tursky he was the Hanastaker Rebbe in Denver. He was Yochid B'minoi in his Amkus Navot Seshem. I put together, he wrote Kamat Nothing, but I put together his Torah and his lines in a sefer called Malchus Shlomo. Malchus Shlomo made, there are people all over the world that learn it, because his depth of avodah was so, even the shirayim of what's left. Somebody told me, I met a Jew who told me, he said, he gives, I don't even know who this guy is, he gives a chabur in Miami in the sefer. I don't even know who he is. I know that I got calls from Miami to send them the sefer, so I got what it was. But my grandfather said, in davening, being that the avoid of davening is avoid the shabalev. It's an emotional experience. Your emotions are not always in the same place every day. Your lev is not in the same place. So by definition, your tefillah is going to change and go up and down, and that's the way it should be. It's a good sign. He said the only two types of people whose davening is the same consistently every day are people who are only davening with their mouths. For that, you can do the same every day. Or tzaddikim who are maybe so big that they're totally above everything that's going on in this world.
Every time they could stay.
Yeah.
Stay zoned
He said, besides for those two people, your tefillah should be going up and down every day. So he said, Chassidim used to say, if my davening is better than yesterday, givaldi. If my davening is worse than yesterday, also not bad. If it's the same as yesterday, I'm worried. Because what does that mean? Am I just saying the words? So, that's all part of the relationship. But if a person is not looking for a relationship and the whole thing is just do what's right, clock in, clock out. You could clock in and clock out of davening. You could clock in and clock out of everything.
Clock in and clock out of life.
Yeah. It's just about doing what's right and going on. And then it manifests in wanting davening to be over as quickly as possible, because if we did it, let's just get the show on the road, right? Because we're saying the words anyway, let's just say it faster. You want the Shabbos meals to end faster so you can get into your bed. We did it. We were yaitza. We ate the gazayis. We ate the gazayis basar. We're good. We're finished. Get into bed, right? Everything becomes like that. Because there's nothing here other than clocking and clocking out. It changes everything in Yiddishkeit. Whereas about a relationship, then you start finding the depth and the meaning in everything, and you start searching for the depth and the meaning in everything. Because you want to know. I'm putting on tefillin every single day. And if a guy stopped me in the subway and said, what are phylacteries about? I would not know what the answer, and I'm putting on tefillin for 40 years. What am I doing? How is this connecting me to Hashem? So you pursue it. And when you pursue it, you find something that's meaningful to you, so then the next day you put on tefillin with a different field. It becomes meaningful. And it's like every part of Yiddishkeit. As long as we make that switch. What? Yeah, like most people. It's just habit. We grow up with these things and we never explore them.
Do it because you're taught to do it.
Right.
Because you're on the streak, you don't want to miss that day, you're not putting it on. Right? Hey, you have that streak, right? You haven't missed it since your bar mitzvah.
Which is good to have that motivation too.
I'm missing one time.
I missed it one time.
You missed one since the bar mitzvah?
Because
What was your excuse
I
that
was
day?
traveling that day.
Yeah.
You didn't realize I took an early morning flight, whatever. I got to flight. It was a Friday, and I only realized that evening. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's not fun.
That's it. Now Hashem doesn't wait till the
So let's just finish this paragraph.
I fasted for 3 weeks.
Okay, fine.
No, I can't. No, I'm not that.
When a person is looking for Hashem, then he will find Hashem. Because even though Hashem is hidden in the world, you know Hashem is hidden? Look, listen to this line from the Orach Tzadikim. The Orach Tzadikim says, "Afa pisha kadosh baruch hu nela me'einei kol chai." Even though Hashem is hidden from the eyes of all living people. Hu nimtza b'levavis v'nigla b'machshavos. He can be found in the hearts, and he reveals himself in people's minds. That means that Hashem is hidden in the world. But to those who seek Him, Hashem reveals Himself in their hearts and in their minds, and they feel His presence, they connect to Him, they know He's there. Like that person October 7th, the Orach Tzadikim. Orach Tzadikim is very, very early.
When was there?
The Shla already quotes it. Now the Shla is an early Achri. Shla quotes Orach Tzadikim. They don't know who wrote Orach Tzadikim. It's one of the few Svarim that they've never figured out who wrote, but it's very early. So it's before the Mesilas Yesharim.
If he wants you, he's going to find you.
Who?
God.
Yeah, and not if He wants you. If you want Him, He wants you. Yeah. He's waiting for you every second. The minute we open up to Him, He comes in. And when He does that, the person feels Hashem's presence as if it's like a badai. So you could have two people looking at the same world that seems to be devoid of Hashem, and one person has no connection to Hashem, and Mesilas has sveikis and Amunah, etc., and the other person has a tangible relationship with Hashem, has no sveikis and Amunah. What do you mean Hashem doesn't exist? So who am I talking to? Yeah, the answer is because Hashem was nigla b'levavis. That's and this is accessible to everybody on any madrega. Every person according to this madrega. This is not a level. This is every Jew. Okay, Yashikach.